Hello there. Good morning. Welcome in to Off the Edge. Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Jacob Harrison here with you. Joe Gaither behind the board. Just another case of the Mondays. Forgot to hit start broadcast on the live stream. So we're all good to go. You can check us out at Off the Edge 109 on all platforms. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, at Off the Edge 109. Greatly appreciate it if you like, you share, you subscribe, you retweet, you share the stream, and you can join the comment section there as well. It's Monday, so we're just breaking down the win. We'll look at national stuff a little bit tomorrow. Today is all about the Alabama Crimson Tide. And, of course, no guests, so you can call into the show. Lewis has already done that. We'll get to him in just a minute. 205-342-9904. That's the number to call. You can join the show. Want to encourage you, download the Tide 100.9 app so you can enjoy all of our content. As well as, hey, we're going to give you a little bit more live updates during the game. Jamison Williams had a heck of a day, and if you had the Tide 100.9 app and you wanted to see those plays again in real time, you'd have got the notification there on your phone, your Apple or your Android, and gotten to see those plays again and get a little bit more of a backstory behind it as well. But it's also where you can catch the call with Eli Gold, John Parker Wilson. Also want to encourage you to check out Alabama Vintage, AlabamaVTG.com, wearing some Alabama vintage apparel right now, commemorating a win over the Tennessee Vols back in the day. Go check them out, man. Commemorative t-shirts, jerseys, hats, shoes, starter jackets. Man, the jersey selection is incredible, though. And whether you're looking for, your favorite NFL team or you're looking for players from the Alabama Crimson Tide that, got into the, really seeped and stayed with you, right? Those jerseys are there, whether it's their Crimson Tide jersey, whether it's their professional jersey. Charlie's got it all on lockdown. 2210 University Boulevard across from City Hall in the heart of downtown T-Town. When we look at Alabama's win, I think this is what we wanted to see against Mercer. This is the joyless murder ball scene, right? This is what we want out of Alabama. We want to see disciplined football. We want to see mistake-free football. And we want to just see them go out there and execute. And Bryce Young did that to a T. Jamison Williams had an incredible game. He was just named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week as well. In case you did not know, maybe it hasn't come through the grapevine. He now shares the all-time record for career kickoff return touchdowns with Christian Jones at 2, and he did it in one game. He's also the only Alabama Crimson Tide player, as you could probably guess, to score 2 kickoff return touchdowns in a single game. Tack on the 83. What was the passing touchdown? The passing touchdown was 81 yards, over 250, almost 300 yards of total yardage from one guy. I told you, don't sleep on Jamison Williams. He got it done.
Was the passing touchdown, was that the same play that we had Devontae Smith over the middle in the national championship where he's against the linebacker? I mean, Williams ran straight down the middle from the slot untouched. It was beautiful.
I got to go back and look and see. But Alabama's play calling, the route combinations that they have, you see it all the time with Jaleel Billingsley, and he did it again this past week in scoring another touchdown, have a way of getting behind defenders and making it seem as if they forgot about these playmakers. So we'll have a lot of fun. We'll break down the win. We'll take your phone calls as well. Big game coming up this weekend with Ole Miss, but we're going to enjoy the win. The Crimson Tide gets 24 hours to enjoy the win. But I take Sunday to watch football, which means I take Sunday to watch the Steelers get their heads kicked in by the Cincinnati Bengals, because nobody wants to block for Najee Harris. If you had him on your fantasy team in a PPR league, though, you're still very happy with his performance. 12 catches, 90 yards, 40 on the ground. He did all he could, man. He's just getting no help out there with the Steelers. Big Ben, man. You got to change his offense up a little bit. Let Man Canada do his thing. Regardless, a big pro game coming up tonight, too. We'll look at that. The Cowboys and the Eagles, a lot of Crimson Tide alumni in that game, especially Devontae Smith versus Trayvon Diggs. That'll be a fun matchup as well. But let's hear from Nick Saban. Let's hear his opening comments. It's always a good way to start the week and get his thoughts on how his team performed. And also a little shout out from the crowd for doing their job. Here's Nick Saban after the win.
Well, I was really pleased with the intensity that our players played with tonight. That's one of the things that, we've been harping on, maintaining intensity for 60 minutes in a game. And I thought we had good energy, and I thought we played with good intensity throughout the game. We made a lot of great plays in the game, made a lot of very good plays in the game. Obviously, there's always things that, you want to improve on, and things that we need to work on, and we'll go to work on that. But this is something that I would like to build on, for our team. I was really excited about the students staying for the game and cheering our players. I know our players really appreciate that. I appreciate it. It sets up a tremendous atmosphere and environment, and it's really good for everyone to see, including recruits that are here and everybody that we have, great support from the students who, we like to play for. That's part of it. University of Alabama means a lot to a lot of people, and we certainly want to represent that in a first-class way, and we appreciate their support.
No doubt about it, man. I was very, very pleased. And it takes a lot of work, honestly, to stay in a stadium that consistently is playing music that doesn't go with certain situations. Listen, Greg Byrne, man, the light show is incredible, and nothing and this isn't even a biased opinion. Nothing tops Enter Sandman coming out of the half with the lights. It's perfectly synced. It's incredible. We don't always get to enjoy the synchronization with Thunderstruck at the beginning of the game because it's still a little too daylight outside. But moves like Jagger ain't gonna cut it with the light show. It's not. Let's get something a little bit more fun, something everybody can sing along to. I don't know. Mr. Brightside would be great when everybody's got their bright flashlights shining as the stadium lights are out, and there's a sea of red and flashlights. Let's maybe do that. Let's update the playlist. But in all seriousness, on the field, I don't know how you can't be just ecstatic with the way that Bryce Young played. I enjoyed the running game as well. Getting to see kind of a preview of next year when Brian Robinson will not be here. We got to see Roydell Williams, Jace McClellan, how they get the job done. A little bit of mixture of power and lightning, but at the same time, both those guys have the speed, the athleticism to break long touchdowns too. So I'm very excited to see how those guys both work out. I would have liked to see Jace McClellan get more than just 2 extra reps or 2 extra touches, I should say, than Roydell Williams. But nonetheless, both guys made the most out of their opportunities. Still want to see a little bit more out of the offensive line. Still want to see more out of the receiving core as well. I mentioned to Kerry Clark, JoJo Earl didn't even have a catch in this game. And the 2 plays that he did make in the game and punt return game were both wiped out by penalties. Alabama had 7 penalties in the game. Outside of those 2, not very problematic overall, though. You do want to clean that up, though. You don't want to have guys illegally blocking when their block doesn't impact the play. I mean, don't illegally block anyway, but when you're away from the play, if your guy's really not going to make a play anyway, don't block him in the back. Very, very simple. Let's jump out to the phone lines, though. Let's go ahead and welcome Lewis into the show, man. You called in really early. What's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Jacob. Enjoy the show, and congratulations to the Tide. I'd like to make a brief statement, and I want your take on this. But I believe the SEC office ought to be totally embarrassed by the way they reviewed a pass that hits the ground in the Auburn game at the end of the game. Anybody watching on TV saw it. The announcers commented on it, and they look at it and don't reverse it. I really believe that they didn't want to see lowly Georgia State beat an SEC team, or maybe it's Jordan's unfair voodoo or something. But, hey, they came back and won. I get it. But that was just egregious. And I'm going to hang up and listen, Jacob, but enjoy the show. I'd love to hear your take on that. Thank you.
Absolutely, Lewis. I greatly appreciate it. In my space in the press box, I did not get a good view of what happened in the Auburn game, and I was more focused on Clemson losing to NC State and Arkansas beating Texas A&M, because those were 2 games where I felt that was the direction those games were going to go. As for Auburn, I mean, you do have to pay attention to little brother, but I didn't see the play in question there. But I'm somebody, me personally, I don't get bent out of shape about the way the officials do their jobs, because we can't fathom how difficult their jobs are. In replay, though, You've got no excuses. You've run out of excuses. And we see a lot of problems in replay in every division of the sport. We see it in the NFL where Julio Jones is clearly in bounds and somehow they overturn his first touchdown with the Tennessee Titans. And the happenings there in Auburn, I chalk it up to the voodoo. But I also told Kerry Clark in the postgame show, if ever there was a game where you were like, it might be rigged, it's not rigged. It's impossible to rig football. But it was one of those that made you go, Auburn should be losing the football game. Auburn should have lost the game. And to tack it on, Georgia, Auburn going and firing their wide receiver coach. What are you doing? What are you doing? You've got no reason to be firing a wide receiver coach this early in the season when your problems are bountiful. Your problems are all over the place. Your problems exist from the fact that you're in a rebuilding year to begin with. Your problems stem from the fact that you have the gall to throw a fade route on 4th and 1 in Happy Valley. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Auburn's problems stem much deeper than a lowly wide receiver coach just trying to start his job out. And when you see alumni getting fired up about that, I saw Sammy Coates get fired up on Twitter about firing the wide receiver coach. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's shameful. It's pitiful. When Alabama travels to Auburn later this year, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly because Auburn doesn't know how to use their players. And if they really do bench Bo Nix, I don't think they will, but if they really do bench Bo Nix for TJ Finley, that's further example of the problems that they have. Let's go back out to the hotline. Jeff in Tennessee. What's going on, Jeff?
How's it going, guys?
Going pretty good.
First of all, are you trying to tell Mr. Byrne how to do his job? Is that what you're trying to do? Are you really trying to tell him how to do his job?
Telling who how to do his job?
Are you trying to tell him how to do his job?
Tell who how to do his job? Greg Byrne? No.
Yeah, you trying to tell him how to do his job now?
No.
Okay, I didn't know because you guys can be up 6 touchdowns in the ball game and still bitch, can't you? Y'all can be up and beating somebody 63-0. We'll find some penalty or hell, we block somebody in the back or what the hell's going on?
I mean,
why are you worried about Auburn anyway? I wouldn't even worry about that.
He asked me about Auburn. What are you doing, Jeff? First of all, all I did was joke about the music selection, and Lewis asked me about Auburn, so I talked about Auburn. Now, what are you upset about, Jeff?
Well, I'm not upset about anything. I'm just saying, I wouldn't even call in to talk about Auburn. To be honest with you, but the Georgia State coach has got it right when you're playing an SEC team, especially on the road. You're not going to win. They beat Tennessee a few years ago. Georgia State did. Of course, they almost beat Auburn there, but and everything. But I'm a Kentucky fan, so we play Florida this week, and nobody's going to give us a shot anyway. Everybody thinks Mark Stoops is a bum.
Hey, Jeff, listen.
Everybody knows it.
You've got a fan in me in what Kentucky's doing.
No, I don't.
No, you do. No, Jeff.
No.
If you've listened to my show day in and day out, if you've listened to me on the postgame show, you know that I do support what Kentucky's got going on. I want to see a little bit more consistency out of Levis, but the fact that they've got a quarterback in the preseason, I predicted they'd go 9-3 because of Joey Gatewood. Now this guy's even better than Gatewood. Gatewood's out of the program. I like what Kentucky's got going on, and if they've got their heads on straight, then they can get the job done. They can really contend for the East, and that's seriousness.
Number one, Levis is a pretty good quarterback.
He is.
Terry Wilson was better because he won in games and Knoxville. The only other quarterback through that in school history was Derek Ramsey, that played tight end for the Raiders in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, so Terry Wilson was a pretty good quarterback. How many times did Peyton Manning beat Florida in college? Do you know?
0.
That's right. How many times did Terry Wilson go down the swamp and win? 1. What does that make Terry Wilson? Huh?
I don't think that makes him better than Peyton Manning. But
well, he should be. He should be. Like I say, baby. Nobody's giving us a shot to beat Florida. Nobody. Okay.
I'm giving you a shot.
Well, you can do what you want to. I'm telling you. There's a guy up here in Nashville gonna think we'll ever win the East. Okay. We'll never win it. We ain't gonna do it. We ain't got the talent. Okay. So you doing, but what I ain't gonna like is if Stu stays around long enough, he's gonna pass some man in some houndstooth or some business that wore some stupid houndstooth hat about 35,000 years ago, and he's gonna pass him. Hope he passes him way past, and I hope someday he's in the Hall of Fame with his brother Bob Stooth. But I know you never heard of him either. He's in Oklahoma. I knew you never heard of him either. They're pretty good football too.
I think I've heard of Bob Stoops a time.
They do pretty good, but he's 53 and 50, and since he went 12 and 26 his first 38, since then he's 41 and 24. I know that's not good enough for Bama fans, because Bama fans want to go 61 and 4 instead of 41 and 24.
We sure
so
do.
I do know that. So y'all hang in there, and maybe someday we can compete with y'all. And maybe someday y'all will make a Final Four if y'all quit planking free throws with Herbert Jones, or is it Butch Jones? Y'all hang in there, babe. Have a good day.
Man, I love Jeff in Tennessee. I really do. I really do, man. For the days he called Travis, man. First of all, Travis Ryer, if you're out there, buddy, Jeff didn't mention Drudy Armand at all today. So there you go. The count is at 0. But I like Kentucky. I do. I want to see more consistency, but I think they've got a shot to beat Florida. It's going to take some gall to go beat Georgia, but they've got a shot at beating Florida. And at the very least, that's steady progression. We've seen Kentucky have steady progression throughout the years, and the more and more noise they make, the better and better the recruits get. The fact that they got a quarterback now in Levis is proof positive of that enough, isn't it? I like Kentucky. And see, Jeff, you talked about Kentucky, so now I'm talking about Kentucky because that's how conversations work. Love you, Jeff, man. Always call into the show anytime. Let's head out to a break. We'll get to Super Joe next. Continue to break down the win over Southern Miss. I thought the team just played disciplined football, and that's what we wanted to see. They kept their execution high. They kept their intensity high, like Nick Saban said. They went out there, they did their jobs, and that's what you want to see out of them. We'll take the break, though. Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
What's better than a new car or SUV? It's only one set of vehicles, a Townsend Nissan CPO certified pre-owned vehicle. They help you make an intelligent vehicle selection. And yes, they have all the rewards with a nationwide factory warranty up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. And best of all, free roadside assistance for up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. Now that's peace of mind nationwide. Plus, super low finance rates up to 72 months. And right now, your current vehicle is worth so much more. Don't wait. Shop your local family in the car business, Townsend Nissan, located right here in Titletown.
O'Reilly. It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn double, triple, even up to 5 times O Rewards points on select purchases. Get bonus points on more than 200 items throughout the store, like wiper blades, fuel system cleaners, motor oil, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the lakes are stocked with ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Where the night sky is tinted with the amber glow of burning couches.
Majestic.
Where rivalries run deep and bandwagoning is a third-degree felony. It's a land flowing with nacho cheese and spicy mustard, where every dispute is settled by coin toss.
Tails never fails.
Every backside is calloused from years of bleacher sitting.
Buns of steel.
And every fan, regardless of race, creed, or alma mater, deserves the rich flavor of Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
These are loyal folk who stay true to their coach through thick and thin.
Mostly thick.
Who lift their Dr. Peppers high and proudly proclaim, "This is our year," even though it probably isn't.
But maybe it is.
Return to glory this season with Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
The one fans deserve.
Grab some today.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm afternoon with a sunny sky. The high today 86 degrees. The sky clear tonight, the low 62. We stay dry for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine tomorrow and Wednesday. Highs between 85 and 88 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 78 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
I'm coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab. Well, he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag. Now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head. But she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now. Let me go. And I just can't look. It's killing me and taking control. Jealousy turning saints into the sea, swimming through sick lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I miss her bright side.
I mean, come on. I know that's a cover, but come on. Got the flashlight going and everything. Doesn't that just work so much better? I can't interrupt that song, by the way. Can't do it. It's too difficult. Ogletree, I hope you're having a good life, man. We miss you. Let's jump out to the phone lines. Let's welcome in Super Joe. Super Joe, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, man? How you doing, partner?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Man, I tell you what, I went to the game this week. I saw the Alabama and the Southern Michigan. I saw a lot of both discipline. It might have been some things they might have left on the field and everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm a lot more impressed, the scoring. Plus, they allowed a lot less points than we did expect that, from, out of our defense and everything. So, one thing I think the defense was more gelled together, and like I said, it wasn't so much that, it was someone in Florida. Don't get me wrong, we did play a good team, but then it was still, like I said, it was stuff that we didn't do right. It was less penalties, stuff. But we still have a little penalty issue sometimes, but there's a lot of teams do, but it was less. So we still can. I won't throw as much criticism I did the last time, but I still believe we're going to be ready for Ole Miss because you got to look at a bye week. A bye week can work for you, or it can work against you. So you see. The whole thing is about with Ole Miss now. One thing about Ole Miss now, they don't have the best defense in the world, but they got a heck of an offense. And I think the only candidates we got for Heisman, I think it's going to be Bryce Young and that quarterback at Ole Miss. I think they're the only two top candidates we got.
Yeah.
And we have to look at other things too. Now look at Texas A&M, who's so okay. Jimbo Fisher folks in Alabama, but they must have forgot the game. And now all of a sudden they lost, so they trying to look out their first loss. And Clemson, guess what? I think Clemson can forget about the playoffs.
Yeah, that's it's pretty safe to say.
and then you look at some other things too. And in Oklahoma, it's supposed to be a high-powered offense, and they didn't have. It's like their offense starting. I don't know if their offense is diminishing or something, but I said, what's going on with Oklahoma? I think they might squeak by and get in the playoffs, but I was expecting Oklahoma to be more like a scoring machine in the offense, but apparently that quarterback they got must be a little overrated, or the offensive line may not be doing what they're supposed to. Something is going on up at Oklahoma. And what is up with Auburn? What is up with them? I mean, I understand benching Bo Nix and TJ. What's that guy? TJ's family. And he definitely won that game for him. But Auburn got some breaks. And what was the deal with them firing the wide receiver coach? What was the deal on that?
I can't explain it. I don't know why you would do that. It's silly. It's reactionary, and it doesn't solve the problems that exist with the program, because there's more problems than just how their wide receivers are running routes. I mean, your first problem is in Happy Valley throwing a fade route on 4th and goal. Like that's a problem. You're not going to fire Mike Bobo because of that. why fire your wide receiver coach? I don't understand that at all. But
Yeah, it could have been saving. It could have been saving somebody's job or something, or it could be an angle to cover somebody. Because I was kind of scratching my head on that. Okay, now what did this man supposedly do wrong here? Yeah, it's something about that because it's something. There's something to that, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's some resentment or something, or maybe some lack of communication, or I don't know, maybe somebody wasn't buying into something. I don't know what the deal was, but I've been a little. I believe that somebody's going to pick that wide receiver coach up. He's going to be expected somewhere else.
oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's not the end of the road for him, and you would hope that if that, I mean, hope that's not the word I want there, but you would think, if it's not something serious, then it's silly. If it's something serious behind the scenes, but it's right after a football game. I mean, that just sounds reactionary, but that's why their little brother. Nick Saban's never fired an assistant coach. He's got too much respect for him.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct and everything. But hey, like I said, we get ready to play. Oh man, that game's gonna be what, 2:30?
Alabama and Ole Miss, yeah.
Yeah, okay, 2:30. Okay, I kind of figured somewhere around there, but yeah, I look at my prediction gonna be that game. I think that's gonna be a good 42-21 game. I think that's where that game's gonna end up. I see Alabama playing very disciplined football on the defense, both sides of the football. And Ole Miss more likely on the score. Because their offense is very nasty. So I do believe it's going to be a good game. But I do believe it's going to be like a 21 point win for us, and because they're going to score some points.
I was about to say, if it's a 21-point victory, how many points does Ole Miss put up?
Ole Miss ain't going to get about 21. Alabama beat them by 21. Alabama beat them by 21. I say Alabama beat them by 21 points.
I could see Alabama winning the game by 21 points, Super Joe, but it'd be a rude awakening, man. Ole Miss is going to put up at least 35.
Yeah, true that.
Against the best defense in college football, no less. I mean, I'll still come out of the game unless they play terribly like they did last year. Alabama still got the best defense in college football, but that ain't going to keep Ole Miss from putting the points on the board.
No, you're right about that. You're right, but shoot, I look at it like this. I say it like this, though. I say it like this. I think Ole Miss is probably going to be the team. Ole Miss and Arkansas might be the two teams we might need to think about. Arkansas coming out the water. Them Hogs are dangerous. They're looking a little dangerous right now. But I'm going to say it like this. I still got to say Alabama. And I do believe that we're going to get some turnovers from the offense, at least 2.
Yeah.
All right, but I won't say no more, but I got to say roll tide and, go on get to the next caller, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Super Joe. Take it easy, man. One thing that did pop up, and Carrie and I talked about it in the post-game show. DeMarco Hellams was one of the players that was presented to the media after the game. It usually means you played a pretty good game. That there's very little questions to ask you to kind of criticize your game, right? And sometimes that can happen where you go in before the film is watched, and you get a real display of whether or not that guy actually did his job or if he just had good stats, that sort of thing. But Curtis at the top of the show, in the Facebook comment section, which you can join as well, by the way, at Off the Edge 109 on all platforms, says he wants to see Brian Branch replace Hellams, Kool-Aid replace Josh Jobe. Well, the latter is not going to happen. That's out of the question. Josh Jobe isn't playing to an elite standard to be a first-round draft pick, but he is still shutting guys down. I mean, Jacob Copeland had 1 catch. Like, I can't go against that. Is he playing other things poorly? Absolutely. But things do happen in the football game. Now, DeMarco Hellams, he's like 30-70 doing his job, not doing his job. And or making plays, not making his plays. I mean, it's always difficult to watch and try to figure out what certain positions are supposed to be doing on a play. Sometimes it's clear and obvious, like what a linebacker is reading. For safeties, it can be a little bit more difficult, especially if you didn't play the position. I didn't play the position. I just kind of understand how defense was work. But DeMarco Hellams is not playing great. That being said, if you're the 11th best player on the best defense in college football, you're still pretty good. I mean, you can't just overlook that. But I full send. Brian Branch is an incredible player, and he doesn't get to play a lot. He's eating into Malachi Moore's snaps a lot. But I agree with Curtis on that. I agree. And I wish there you go. Helms was the reason that Ole Miss, that Southern Miss was able to score, Curtis. It was his inability in a play that he read perfectly. He read the play perfectly and was still out of position against an inferior team, against inferior athletes, and did this. I got fired up about it in the postgame show. Did this gator roll thing where he lunges at the feet and rolls, and there's just nothing in his hands. There's nothing in his arms. He's tackled air. He's tackled the turf. And I'm seeing that a lot from a lot of guys on this defense, and I'm not crazy about it. Everybody needs to go to the Will Anderson school of tackling, where you put your chest on somebody and you go through them. You don't lunge and roll like that. It doesn't work, man. These guys are too strong and too fast at even at Southern Miss's level to deal with that. These guys are in the weight room too. You know, they've got tree trunk thighs too. Put your chest on them. Put your chest on them. You put your chest on them. First of all, it's not going to hurt you as bad, and you're going to get the guy. You're going to slow him down in some way. Stop using your arms before contact, all this other. Why did Arkansas score on that long touchdown to A.J. Green out of the backfield? He made one guy miss, just a bad tackle effort, didn't wrap up, and then the next guy pushed him to the end zone. Pushed him to the end zone. When are we going to start playing good defense in college football? Because the best defense in college football is still struggling. That said, Nick Saban, we'll hear his thoughts on the defense in the next segment. He liked the direction the defense went in. It's football. You're going to give up a few. You're going to snooze on a play or so. But 5 out of 15 third down conversions for the Golden Eagles. They only gained 213 yards in the entire football game. Had less than 50 rushing yards, too, I think. Frank Gore Jr., by the way, is an electric football player. He got 7 touches on the ground, 7 yards. That's impressive. That's good. That's doing your job. That's stopping the other team. Now, Ty Keys is an impressive player. He did his job too, and made some plays, found some guys open down the seam. Where are the linebackers at? Where's the strong safety at? Why isn't Jordan Battle playing strong safety more? He's listed as the strong safety. I don't understand it. He's the guy that's deep more often. There's just some wrinkles in the middle of this defense that once they're ironed out, you're going to have something there. But that is somewhere that the seams was something that Lane Kiffin took advantage of a lot last year. A lot. And that was more understandable with Dylan Moses and half a knee out there than it should be with Henry To'oTo'o and Christian Harris and all the speed that they possess. You want to see guys in coverage doing their jobs. And Christian Harris didn't do a bad job in Florida covering the tight end, but he also wasn't defending the passes. More so is just making the play at the reception. But still, sometimes that's good enough in today's football. It's difficult, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll hear from Nick Saban in the next segment about what his thoughts were on this defense. His opinion matters more than anybody else's. But stick around right here on Off the Edge. Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
What's better than a new car or SUV? It's only one set of vehicles, a Townsend Nissan CPO certified pre-owned vehicle. They help you make an intelligent vehicle selection. And yes, they have all the rewards with a nationwide factory warranty up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. And best of all, free roadside assistance for up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. Now that's peace of mind nationwide. Plus, super low finance rates up to 72 months. And right now, your current vehicle is worth so much more. Don't wait. Shop your local family in the car business, Townsend Nissan, located right here in Titletown.
O'Reilly. It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn double, triple, even up to 5 times O Rewards points on select purchases. Get bonus points on more than 200 items throughout the store, like wiper blades, fuel system cleaners, motor oil, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville, a college football utopia. Where the lakes are stuffed with ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Where the night sky is tinted with the amber glow of burning couches.
Majestic.
Where rivalries run deep and bandwagoning is a third-degree felony. It's a land flowing with nacho cheese and spicy mustard, where every dispute is settled by coin toss.
Tails never fails.
Every backside is calloused from years of bleacher sitting.
Buns of steel.
And every fan, regardless of race, creed, or alma mater, deserves the rich flavor of Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
These are loyal folk who stay true to their coach through thick and thin.
Mostly thick.
Who lift their Dr. Peppers high and proudly proclaim, "This is our year," even though it probably isn't.
But maybe it is.
Return to glory this season with Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
The one fans deserve.
Grab some today.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
We're back on Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Jacob Harrison here with you. Joe Gaither behind the board. This Alabama defense played better. You're supposed to do that. Southern Miss isn't very good. I think who said it? I think Clint Lamb said it. Said Mercer would beat Southern Miss. Wholeheartedly agree. A lot more fight in the Mercer Bears than there is in the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Even for all the talent that Southern Miss has. I mean, Malik Shorts was a player that I told you about. Hey, came up with an interception. Like I said, Ty Keys played well. Frank Gore is a big name. Nonetheless, Alabama did their job, though. They went out there and they executed. They made the plays. When your quarterback is 20 of 22 and the one interception he threw was a dime into double coverage. It was into double coverage. Stop doing that. But it was a dime. It was catchable. Jamison Williams just bounced off his chest. Catch with your hands. You feel pretty good about your efficiency overall. You're led by a guy who's running the plays that are called and executing them perfectly, and you're scoring a lot. Friday night, Whit Winfield of the Northridge Jaguars scored the game-winning touchdown on a quarterback sneak from his own 29-yard line. You know what Coach Mike Vickery said to me after the game? He says, when we run a quarterback sneak from the 40 or the 50, we expect to score. He didn't chuckle. He didn't laugh. He didn't say it with a smile. Like, he was halfway serious. He turned around and said, that's a freak play. It doesn't happen very often. But when you execute a play perfectly, it's supposed to lead to a touchdown. When you're drawing up plays on the whiteboard and you execute all the blocks and there's that lane for the running back to go through, it leads all the way to the end zone because everybody got blocked. It leads all the way to the end zone. Vince Lombardi, there's an alley here and an alley here. When we run it through the alley, that arrow goes all the way up to the end zone. That's the purpose. So when you're executing your job, you're gonna get the result that you're looking for. On offense, that's exactly what happened. On defense, I'd say about 90% of the time, the defense was doing what they were supposed to do. I got to watch the game back a little bit, see where some of the mistakes that were present in the Florida game maybe aren't present in the Southern Miss game, where you're just doing your job. You're reading your assignment, you're reading your keys, you're getting off of blocks, you're holding your position, you're gap responsible, you're edge responsible, you're playing clean technique, and you're disciplined in what you do. If that's the case, and you can do that against a team that you're better than, then you can replicate it against a team that's almost as good as you are, and that's Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss's offense is something to behold. It could be the best in college football. That remains to be seen. They haven't played the toughest schedule, okay? And Matt Corral has made a lot of kids look absolutely oblivious to what this sport is all about by playing such incredible football. I understand, though, that they have not played a tough schedule. Alabama certainly has. Alabama's seen all this diversity, or adversity, I should say. They've seen all this adversity, and that goes a long way. That's important. See, what fans don't seem to forget about a lot is the adversity of a season molds champions. You think the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are what they are as far as the storyline, as far as what that team was all about without the adversity that team faced in the beginning? You know, you think today the LA Rams are what they are without the adversity of having to make the tough decision to trade away a quarterback that they invested their franchise in for another guy who's over 30 years old. You know, like the adversity is what breeds the story and breeds the makeup of the team. And if you're able to overcome early adversity, then you can handle later adversity. Remember the 2018 team, the 2018 Alabama Crimson Tide? We were, this is the greatest Crimson Tide football team of all time. Tua Tagovailoa, oh my goodness, Josh Jacobs, the wideouts, everybody, they're all doing it. That defense was never tested. And it got exposed out in Santa Clara with the Clemson Tigers. It wasn't the greatest Crimson Tide team ever. It was arguably even more disappointing than the 2010 team, right? Adversity builds on a team. Here's Nick Saban talking about his defense and how it's improved week over week from the adversity in Florida to what they've done this past Saturday in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Look, I don't think the defense played with great poise the last 40 minutes of the game last week. I think guys got frustrated. I think they let the momentum of the game sort of get to them a little bit. And, you know, I think the thing we did today is we kept our poise. We kept playing the next play. We competed well in the game. They did some things like always, it seems that, you know, we hadn't practiced in terms of a lot of the orbit motion and the options coming off of it. So we made some adjustments to that at halftime. You know, we played better. I still think there's some third down situations that we need to clean up and get better at. And obviously, you know, we were challenged to a larger degree a week ago. Not that we don't have all the respect in the world for Southern Miss and their players, but, you know, we played against a lot of good players last week, and we didn't play as well as we want. And I think the players responded to it very well today.
So looking at the entire picture, one thing that he mentions in there, for the fourth straight week, they did a lot of things we didn't practice for. Teams are getting better and better about this, and it's the gamesmanship. It's how offenses have evolved, the fact that they can be successful without utilizing their entire playbook. In college football, this really exists, though, where you don't call certain plays, you don't use certain formations simply so that you can later down the road. You know, when you're in a spot where you're able to deceive on film, galaxy brain level stuff, but that's really an advantage for these coordinators. And it's something that I guarantee you Lane Kiffin has put into account. He hasn't had to play anybody, okay? He could beat Louisville by just running four verts the entire game, and if it doesn't pan out, toss it down to the running back and, you know, just continue to pick up yardage, right? Alabama versus Texas A&M, by the way, has been announced for 7 p.m. Central. So we'll have more information on that at tide109.com here in just a little bit. But you guarantee it. Lane Kiffin has done things that he wants to show Alabama in these games where it's not high competition. An Ole Miss can just get it done just by executing a simple game plan so that he can unleash it on Alabama. So I'm sure if I go back and watch the tape, I'm not going to see a lot of seam route combinations from the whatever they call their tight end. I'm sure it's just an H-back and their slot receivers and those sorts of things, because the middle of the field is the dangerous part of the field for the Alabama Crimson Tide. If you can attack it, you're going to have success. You don't want to be attacking Josh Jobe the whole game. You don't want to be attacking Jalen Armour-Davis the whole game. Those guys are good, okay? And you're not going to get over the top. Even if Jordan Battle's a better strong safety than he is a free, he's been doing his job. There ain't been no explosive plays on this defense. So at the end of the day, Alabama's going to have to do the same thing with their offense, because they're going up against a defense that's not great, that has not shown at least that it's great because of playing this lesser competition. It's still giving up much more than 13 points per game, much more than 17 points per game. I'm sure if I looked at the number, I'm sure it would probably be somewhere in the area of like 24. I don't know. It's just guesstimating. But regardless, the two tight end sets, right? I've been pulling my hair trying to figure out why Jalil's out of the doghouse. Two tight end sets, 12 personnel, please, right? And seriously, nobody asked Saban about 12 personnel. Nobody asked about two tight ends. Let it be a surprise for Ole Miss. I'm just saying, two tight ends, Jalil Billingsley, Cameron Latu, they're the best receivers on these teams, and I said it outright. Throwing the ball over the middle. Ole Miss ain't got a soul that can cover him. I promise. We'll see how it works. If Ole Miss is going to take advantage of that on the film, and Nick Saban week after week after week after week says they did some things that we weren't expecting, first of all, prepare for the option against every single team, because every single team is going to run it against you. Nick Saban knows that. I'm not telling Nick Saban how to do his job, Jeff. But anticipate the things that they're going to try against you too, because this has been a week over week over week over week thing. Every single week after the game, they did things we didn't see on film. Start giving that to the other team too. Let's make sure that after the game, Lane Kiffin says they did things we didn't see on film, because that's the difference in the ballgame. We'll take a break, close it down. Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Crimson Tide Sports.
What's better than a new car or SUV? It's only one set of vehicles, a Townsend Nissan CPO certified pre-owned vehicle. They help you make an intelligent vehicle selection. And yes, they have all the rewards with a nationwide factory warranty up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. And best of all, free roadside assistance for up to 100,000 miles or 7 years. Now that's peace of mind nationwide. Plus, super low finance rates up to 72 months. And right now, your current vehicle is worth so much more. Don't wait. Shop your local family in the car business, Townsend Nissan, located right here in Titletown.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville.
We're at
a
A&M.
college football utopia. Fansville. Where the lakes are stocked with ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Where the night sky is tinted with the amber glow of burning couches.
Majestic.
Where rivalries run deep and bandwagoning is a third-degree felony. It's a land flowing with nacho cheese and spicy mustard, where every dispute is settled by coin toss.
Tails never fails.
Every backside is calloused from years of bleacher sitting.
Buns of steel.
And every fan, regardless of race, creed, or alma mater, deserves the rich flavor of Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
These are loyal folk who stay true to their coach through thick and thin.
Mostly thick.
Who lift their Dr. Peppers high and proudly proclaim, "This is our year," even though it probably isn't.
But maybe it is.
Return to glory this season with Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
The one fans deserve.
Grab some today.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm afternoon with a sunny sky. The high today 86 degrees. The sky clear tonight, the low 62. We stay dry for the rest of the week. Lots of sunshine tomorrow and Wednesday. Highs between 85 and 88 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 78 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Back on Off the Edge, Tide 100.9. Your home for Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Going to close it down here in just a little bit. Alabama and Texas A&M, that game will be at Kyle Field, and it's going to kick off at 7 p.m. Central on CBS next week. Also, Jamison Williams named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week. All that information will soon be available at Tide109.com. I told you about Najee Harris a little while ago, how he's not getting help. Najee Harris has been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on 70% of his carries, which is by far the highest rate in the NFL. That's according to PFF. So, yay. 12 catches for 90 yards, though. I'd throw the kid the football. Throw the kid the football. It's the best way to go about it. Maybe it'll open up the running game later down the road, or maybe the Steelers will never be good at running the football ever again. Is that our lot in life, Joe? Is for both our teams to just have the worst offensive lines in the entire NFL?
It's been a pretty consistent factor for the Bears, so I hope not for you, because it's a dismal fate.
Yes, it is. It is. We had like 3 years where the Steelers had like the best offensive line in the entire league. Goodness gracious, it falls apart quickly, man. The NFL, it has just as much turnover as college football. A lot of folks just don't really accept that or realize that, but
not for long.
Yeah, not for long is absolutely right. But back on Jamison Williams winning the SEC Player of the Week, man. First of all, I told y'all, don't sleep on this guy. And I heard the other day the insinuations of this dude has a bad attitude. No, he's passionate. Okay, if he had a bad attitude, he wouldn't be a gunner on special teams, streaking down the field, risking a hammy to go tackle a guy the second he catches the ball. Like that's what Jamison Williams does. I love this guy. And honestly, that there's a lot of first round potential left in this guy. He's got to work on catching with his hands a little bit more. But man, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's electric. And it won't be long before he's contending to be the number one receiver on this team. Outright, flat, period. As far as wide receivers go, I stand by what I said a minute ago. Billingsley, Latu, those are the best receivers on this team. That or Bryce Young just really likes throwing to his tight ends, but I won't be the judge there. We appreciate you hanging out with us for this past hour. The Jay Barker Show is coming up next. Ryan Fowler will take you from 2 to 6. We'll have Crimson Tide Rewind later on tonight as well. We'll hear from Coach Saban in about 5 minutes right here on your home for Alabama Crimson Tide Sports, Tide 100.9. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Off the Edge.
Can't tell you how proud I am